How do we take one listing and generate 2 to 3 more? That's exactly what we're covering on This Week in Marketing.
If you're paying attention to what's going on in real estate, which of course, as a professional, you should be, it's incumbent on you, you'll know that the average days on market of listings across the US, Canada, and elsewhere is on the rise. Now, fret not, this is not a fear-mongering, doom and gloom, collapse or crash kind of real estate conversation. To the contrary, today I really want to explore what I believe is a strategic opportunity to position yourself as the listing agent of choice in your local marketplace. So hear me out for a second. In all candidness, agents have been facing a major marketing challenge over the past couple of years because when listings literally hit the market and sell within, 18 minutes with multiple offers, that really leaves insufficient time to actually do adequate marketing to properly expose a property to the largest pool of ready, willing, and able buyers. It just isn't enough time. Even in my own social media marketing over the past couple of years, you might have seen me say things like, when the market speeds up, speed up your marketing, which is true, except that when the market moves, from light speed to warp speed to we've gone plaid, Spaceballs reference for anybody out there. Yeah, yes, no, maybe. It becomes a little bit difficult to actually be able to market a property in a way that does everything you want it to do. However, now, as days on market is on the rise, herein lies an opportunity for you to really step up your marketing game in a way that benefits sellers, it benefits the marketplace, but also it benefits you, because today I want to dive into 6 different ways to market a listing that are designed to not only sell the listing, but to attract more business your way. Because you know what? In real estate, you get to market pretty much 2 things. You get to market yourself and you get to market your listings. But when you use your listings to market yourself, it's like sparks and gasoline. It's a win-win. If you're new to the channel, would you please tap that big red subscribe button? And when you do so, would you hit the little bell next to it to enable notifications so that whenever we publish new content just like this video, you're the first to know about it. And if at any point during this video, something I say resonates or adds value to you, would you please smash that like button? Now, before we dive off into our material, I want to kind of back up a step and align our thinking in terms of what is the value proposition of a listing agent, because I think we get this wrong, and I think getting it wrong is going to impact the entire scope of the job of the listing agent. I would submit to you that a listing agent performs 3 primary functions, i.e. their value proposition. First and foremost, the one everybody thinks about, and what we're going to talk about today, is marketing and exposure. The job of a listing agent is to expose a property to the largest pool of ready, willing, and able buyers, to mobilize the local real estate community, and to cause a home to sell, right? Like, that's part of your value prop. However, I think that we get this wrong. This is kind of an aside, but I want to kind of get on my little soapbox for a second here. I think we go into listing presentations thinking it's all about saying, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z marketing wise, which is part of it, but that's not the entire scope of the job of a listing agent. That is mission critical important, but there's also other variables that factor in. For example, gaining your seller a negotiation high ground. In other words, how are you as a listing agent leveraging the momentum created by all your marketing and exposure to create an influx of demand whereby you have a sense of urgency and competition between buyers so that you can gain an edge for your sellers in terms of the negotiation high ground to elicit best terms. And then the third value proposition, I would argue, of a listing agent is what I call deal life support. Candidly, an alarming number of deals fall through. So this is just a sidebar, but I would tell you, like, when you're at a listing presentation, you should focus on the marketing you're going to do for your seller's property, but you should also talk about how you gain them the negotiation high ground and how you keep the deal together. We call it deal life support, right? Because at the end of the day, nobody's selling a house until the deal closes. We're going to talk about marketing today, but I want you to realize your value proposition to a seller is more than just marketing. Marketing is kind of the initiation of the full scope of your services. It's marketing and exposure, gaining the negotiation high ground for your seller, and what we call deal life support. Those are the 3 primary functions of a listing agent. All right, so with that out of the way, let's dive into marketing tactics for listings that generate more listings. Our first tactic for marketing a listing in today's shifting real estate environment in such a way that helps to generate more business for you is what we call Hyperlapse Instagram Reels. Now, you should know if you follow me on any of my social channels that I am all about Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels, the vertical videos that Instagram offers, are just crazy good in terms of reach, exposure, generating views, and all those important engagement metrics. So I think you should be doing Reels period, bar none. However, today I specifically want to talk about a type of reel that you should be making with your listings because they work really, really well. When you're inside the Instagram Reels editor, there is a tool on the left-hand sidebar that has to do with the speed of the footage. In other words, a hyperlapse basically means fast forward or sped up. You can speed up the footage from a 1 time to a 2 times or 3x or 4x or whatever, so that when you record it and play it back, it kind of fast forwards it. It speeds it up a little bit, which makes it, to the eye, kind of hard to stop watching because things are moving so quick. And so there's a built-in performance that comes attached to using that little feature inside of Instagram's Reels editor. So speed it up to like 2 or 3 times. 4 or 5 might be a little too fast. And what a lot of our innovative coaching members are doing is they're going to their listings, they're bringing like a buddy or a friend or a teammate with them who's holding their iPhone, and they're filming them with the hyperlapse function enabled. And they simply go tour the property and they just walk from room to room. They kind of point and gesture and there's no talking. The camera just, as they point to the kitchen or the fridge or the countertops or whatever, the phone just kind of looks at those things and they tour the property, and it positions you as the listing agent touring the property in a way that's basically going semi-viral for so many of our coaching members across our ecosystem. These reels are performing wonderfully and they're super easy to make. Again, there's no talking. All they're doing is adding in some music from Instagram's audio library that's trending, and then poof, it's off to the feeds. Now, just some pro tips. A, make sure you're always smiling because your face says it all and you're not actually talking. B, make sure to, I'm getting confused. B, make sure to use your hands to kind of point and gesture to what you want the phone to point at after you do. Like, hey, come with me. Hey, let's go to this room. Hey, look at that. You want to just keep the viewer with you, instructing them through your hand motions the entirety of the film. And last, letter C, our third tip would be have the person holding the phone actually kind of slow down their movements every now and again so that when you watch the video back in its finished state, the viewers they see some fast moments and slow moments, and there's a little bit more motion to the video. But my point to you today is these hyperlapse Instagram Reels, whereby you tour your properties and you are on video, there's no talking, are doing incredibly well from a performance standpoint, so get in on them. Marketing tactic number 2, this one is so easy and it won't take me long to explain it, but it's important because remember our objective today. The objective is to market a listing in such a way that generates more listing opportunities. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't encourage you to post your listings as a listing in the Facebook Marketplace and also on Craigslist. I know that's kind of old school and simple, but think about it. On Facebook Marketplace, just for instance, the way in which somebody interacts with you is they're going to message you. And now we've established a messaging back and forth through Facebook Messenger, which, by the way, if you create the listing in the Marketplace through your business page on Facebook, well, now I can go into my ads manager and I can actually create custom audiences whereby I retarget people who are looking at my listing, or I can retarget people who actually message me and so forth. The ability of staying in touch and continuing marketing with people who interacted with my listing inside of Facebook Marketplace is crazy good. So don't miss out on Facebook Marketplace. And Craigslist is great too. People can certainly message you, which is basically a sign call on your listing, which is what we want, like a digital sign call. But there are also lots of amazing tools like Zapier, whereby you can integrate it with your Craigslist and you can actually set up automated text message and email driven campaigns back and forth with people who have interest in your property. So don't overlook the simple ones like Craigslist, like Facebook Marketplace. They are spaces where you can publish your listings and also facilitate dialogue with prospective buyers and or people who have a home to sell because they're looking to buy and they have interest in your property. Today's conversation is all about marketing listings in a way that helps to build your own pipeline of future business. Our third marketing tactic to position listings in a way that attracts more listings for you is what we call the postcard blitz. Now, before I get into this strategy, which is going to involve multiple postcards, a couple of caveats. Caveat number 1 is know the rules. Know in your local marketplace what's the policy around clear cooperation and other rules in terms of talking about coming soon listings. Know the rules. The second caveat is to really monitor days on market. Now, right now, with the market being what it is, this tactic will still work completely. But if days on market gets too high, for example, in some future unknown marketplace, this one may lose some of its luster, and you'll see as I explain the steps why that's the case. So I love it when agents send postcards to the neighbors around a specific listing, letting them know they have a home hitting the marketplace. But what I love even more is 3 postcards. So today we're talking about a blitz, a trifecta of 3 postcards, whereby you're gonna hit the neighbors not once, not twice, but 3 times with news about one specific listing, which is gonna really help make you a lot more memorable with prospective sellers, i.e. the neighbors. The first postcard is dubbed Coming Soon. Again, know the rules, but it's just an announcement to the neighbors saying like, hey, we have such and such home coming to market. It's coming soon. We're going to keep you informed about what happens with this activity and when it sells and all those good details. So that's the first one. Your second postcard that goes out is what we've dubbed already gone. In other words, as soon as the property goes in escrow with a bound contract, once it's pending, then you inform all the neighbors, hey, we got one, it's under contract. And the buyer is working through the contract, working through due diligence to get this deal closed. This is why I talked about the time on market. Already gone, if it took 60 days, may not really apply. So just use your own common sense and discretion here. And then the third postcard is what we've called too late. In other words, it's closed. The point is we're going to touch the neighbors with postcards, not once, not twice, but 3 times. When the property is coming to market, when it goes under contract, and when it closes, keeping the neighbors informed all the steps of the way so they can really see wow, there's a lot of moving parts in terms of getting a home sold. I better talk to so-and-so agent. They seem like the best agent in this marketplace. This is a way to get more listings. Marketing tactic number 4 to position you as the listing agent of choice is YouTube commercials. Now, the technical name of YouTube commercials, as I've talked about them on this show lots of times, is a YouTube in-stream ad. They are the little commercials, sometimes short, sometimes longer, that play before, during, and after whatever video you're attempting to watch on YouTube, and they are unbelievably powerful. Now, a couple of things. Who owns YouTube? The answer is Google does. And the Google advertising platform is really one of the best, if not the best platform out there in terms of its targeting capabilities. It's an amazing platform. And I would argue that YouTube ads are way underutilized by real estate agents as a powerful positioning strategy. Not just positioning your listings, but positioning you as the listing agent of choice. Because remember what I said, you get 2 things. You can market yourself and your listings, but when you use your listings to market yourself, it's fireworks. It's a major opportunity of positioning you as the one actually doing the work in your local marketplace. Here's what I also love about YouTube ads, the targeting options. You have the ability to actually go inside of the Google Ads console, ads.google.com, and you can actually choose an audience of people who Google believes are in market, meaning they're primed, they're ready, they're actively researching to buy property in a specific geographic area. So think about that. You have the ability to target prospective buyers in the area who've expressed interest in that area where your listing resides. That's powerful. What's more, you can also target homeowners in a specific area. So imagine a homeowner flips on YouTube to go watch some video, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden your video pops on and it's you introducing your brand new listing, which is hypothetically just down the street from them. And they're thinking to themselves, boy, my agent didn't do that for me. Wow, so-and-so really goes above and beyond. Let's go back to the value proposition of a listing agent. We said it was 3 things. Marketing exposure, well, check the box there. We just did it in a way that's innovative, in a way that other agents aren't doing it. YouTube ads are just completely underutilized, first and foremost. But number 2, nobody's using them properly to promote their listings. And it's not just about lead gen. It's about winning the mind share of the marketplace whereby they see you doing something that's memorable. And they're going to say, you know what, when we sell our house, I want to work with somebody like that. And I would advise that you make a video specifically for this purpose. And in fact, just use your iPhone. Just grab your phone, turn it on its side like this, because I want to see the landscape because it's YouTube. And I want to see you on video introducing and showing off your new listing. That's going to be powerful. And imagine a homeowner goes on YouTube and all of a sudden they hear you say, and you're on screen, and it's hey, Highland Park homeowners, your neighbor's property, 123 Banana Street, is about to hit the market. Let's go check it out. And then it just goes to some B-roll of you showing off the different property features. That would be amazing in terms of positioning you as a listing agent of choice. So remember, with YouTube ads, you can target in-market buyers in your specific geographic area, and you can target homeowners, whereby you can be the listing agent who goes above and beyond to promote a property. YouTube commercials are where it's at. Marketing tactic number 5 for positioning a listing is a good one. Listen up. It's TikTok ads. TikTok for business is really amazing. TikTok has designed from the ground up a really world-class ad console. In other words, Facebook has their ads manager, Google has its ads manager, the thing inside of which you actually build your ad campaigns. TikTok's ad manager is beautiful and easy to use and intuitive, and you should leverage it to promote your listings. What's more, TikTok has something that Facebook and Google don't have right now. Now, I'm going to get a little bit technical for a second. Real estate agents in the US, North America, around the world are subject to a lot of different laws and regulations in terms of how they can and can't advertise themselves or their listings. In the US, for instance, we have the Fair Housing Act, which basically says that agents should not promote a property or themselves in a way that discriminates against a protected class. And doing so would be obviously wrong. Well, so let's go back in time for a second. A couple of years ago, Facebook got sued by the National Fair Housing Alliance for basically enabling agents to be able to target in such a way that did violate those rules, those laws. And Facebook lost that lawsuit, so they rolled out what are called the special ad categories, which apply to housing, employment, and credit, and also politics. In terms of housing ads, they basically prevent agents from ever, even inadvertently, targeting an ad they might build for Facebook or Instagram in such a way that would ever even remotely violate the laws of the Fair Housing Act, which was honestly a needed change that Facebook had to do. It was great. However, Facebook actually added some additional restrictions above and beyond the law. For example, real estate agents can only target like a 15-mile radius. That's just one thing. Now, Google has what are called the personalized advertising policies, and housing is one of the subsets under which they are governed or limited or restricted in terms of how you can and can't run ads and promote. And again, geographic area is one of those restrictions. But TikTok isn't that way. Now, of course, as an agent, it's your job to know the laws and the rules, and you can't target in a way that violates those. What I'm saying is TikTok does not have additional rules beyond the law of the land. So for example, on TikTok, you'd have the ability to run an ad that was targeting according to a much more defined geographic area. Just for example, my point to you is you should look at TikTok ads just in general, beyond just that little thing that I just pointed out, just in general to promote your listings. And finally, number 6, I saved my favorite one for last, is a geotagged landing page. What in the world am I talking about? Okay, so let's get a little bit technical for just a little bit. Most real estate agent websites are not fully indexed by Google, meaning there are a lot of pages on your website that Google can't see. That I'm not going to go into the reasons for why that is right now. Suffice it to say, if you have IDX, meaning you can have listings from your MLS populate on your website, most of those pages in which the listings are actually listed cannot be seen by Google because your website provider does not let them get crawled and indexed by Google. So in other words, if I Google 123 Banana Street, there's not a chance of your website ever ranking in that search result organically. It has to be only done through a paid mechanism, but I have an idea for us to talk about today. That is a geotagged landing page. So when you get a listing, I want you to create a dedicated page on your website, www.domain.com/123 Street. Could be the URL of that specific landing page, just for instance. And in that landing page, here are the major ingredients I want present. First and foremost, I want a keyword-rich title. Now let me foreshadow why I'm talking about all this. Imagine somebody driving around a neighborhood where you have a property listed and they see your sign. In the old days, they would have just called you, but now they're probably going to just Google the address because they don't want to actually talk to a human. That would be the worst. So they Google the address and then they end up on Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that. Well, what I want to do today is build a web page that ranks at the very top of Google so that all those sign calls that you're now losing out on because people don't want to talk over the phone, you can then intercept through Google search and drive them to your website and still capitalize on all that digital traffic in terms of buyers and sellers and anybody who might have interest in the property for one reason or another. So let's review. The first thing we've said so far is that you need a keyword-rich title in which the actual address of the property is there. So in other words, the URL is going to basically be www.domain.com/123 Banana Street. The name of the property and the title is going to be 123 Banana Street for sale in such and such neighborhood. I want a keyword-rich title. That's the first part. The second thing to do is to add some images of the property itself onto the page. Living room photos, backyard photos, front view photos, whatever. But I want you to optimize those images for Google Images because guess what? Google Images is the second most popular search engine on the planet. So how do we optimize the images on your page accordingly? It's two things. One, you can geotag the images. Go to GeoImager, GeoImgr.com to learn more about that. But the second thing you can do is rename the file itself. So when you upload the image to your website, it might be like 1VA alpha blah 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 .png or .jpg. That could be the name of the actual image file. I want you to rename it 123 Banana Street -living room, 123 Banana Street -backyard, and so forth, because that's going to help Google gain better understanding of when it should or shouldn't rank these photos in Google Images. And then the last thing I want you to do, and this is kind of technical, but it's also kind of cool, is to run an ad on the actual page. Now, I want you to index and rank organically, but I want to make sure that you are at the top of Google. So if anybody ever does a search for 123 Banana Street in your local community, bam, your ad ranks above Zillow, above everybody inside Google search results. And the way you do that is through what's known as a dynamic search ad on Google. I'll give you the cliff notes on how to do this. You go to Google Ads Manager, which is ads.google.com. you're going to set up what's called a search ad campaign, which is the traditional Google search, like PPC. I type in words in my browser and then ads appear in the search results page, just a regular old search campaign. But when you're building out the campaign, there's a feature inside of the ads console called a dynamic search ad, which I want you to enable. Now, I have made a video where I do a step-by-step training on this. If you just do a Google search for Jason Pantana dynamic search ads, you're going to find my video that will walk you through all the steps of how to do this from A to Z. However, here's the high-level overview. You make a search campaign in Google. You enable the dynamic search ads. What are dynamic search ads? Well, dynamic search ads are different from regular search ads in that regular search ads require me to tell Google, these are the keywords I want to bid on. Whenever somebody types in bicycle or training wheels or whatever, I'm making this up. Whenever they type in those words, I want to rank. But with a dynamic search ad, I don't have to tell Google what keywords I want to rank on. Instead, I give Google the URL of the specific page, and it will scan the page to find what it believes are the most relevant keywords associated with it. So remember, my webpage is already called 123 Banana Street, for sale, Highland Park, blah, blah, blah. It's already optimized organically, which means when Google scans it through the Google Ads portal, when it scans it, it's going to realize, oh, whenever somebody Googles 123 Banana Street or other types of keywords related to somebody who's searching for this property online, it's going to go ahead and bid on those keywords for me automatically, i.e. dynamically. So I know this one's kind of technical. It's also kind of awesome. And it works even better and better as days on market goes up. So if you want to be able to position your listings in a way that not only benefits the seller, but benefits your pipeline, this is most certainly a strategy to really dive into. A geotagged landing page with dynamic search ads. Now, I know that was a lot. I'd love to hear from you in a comment below. Like, what are your questions? What do you want to learn more about? Do you want us to make another video diving deeper on a specific topic? We're here to help you grow your business, grow your production, and move the real estate industry forward. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. If this video helped or resonated in any way, would you please smash that like button? It means a lot to us. Have a wonderful day. Y'all are the best. And until next week, this is This Week in Marketing.